Around 3-4 months ago, I published my first YouTube video ever. As you might expect, before I published it and after, I was terrified of what people would think. What if they think I'm stupid? What if they hate my content? What if they judge my setup? But then I remembered a lesson that was instrumental in helping me build confidence back when my confidence was below zero. Opinions coming from people who would judge and tear others down don't really matter. Hey there, I'm Paolo. I make videos about being productive, building confidence, and taking action consistently. And today, I want to talk about how to stop caring so much about what other people think. Because this fear in particular is one that feels disproportionately big compared to how important it actually is. But first of all, caring about what others think isn't a bad thing per se. It can make you more empathetic, more considerate, and more aware of how your actions affect others. The problems start when you see every comment as an absolute verdict on your self-worth. Suddenly, you're thinking, what will they think? More than you're thinking, what do I want? Before you know it, you become a people pleaser and even slow down your own growth because you're so desperate for external approval that you even seek validation from people whose approval really doesn't matter. But if you really want to build the life you desire, you have to let go of most things that people do or say. Just to be clear, to stop caring so much about what other people think doesn't mean to completely ignore everyone. Because that would just be arrogance, not confidence. And as we know, arrogance is just insecurity with better marketing. But if you start ignoring everyone, if you start treating everyone's opinions that you don't agree with as garbage, you'll miss genuine feedback that could actually help you. You'll stop admitting when you're wrong and you'll stop growing as a person in general. Because criticisms, although they are almost always a little annoying, they can be clues. Of course, if one person says something negative, then maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe that person is just a jerk. So just let it go. But if multiple people say the same thing, that may be worth paying attention to. But it still doesn't mean you should believe it right away. So before you take anything to heart, you need to ask two questions. One, is it specific? Vague criticism like you're not good enough or you should do better, that doesn't really help much, does it? It's pretty useless. But something like your audio quality could be improved, that's much better because it gives you something to work with at least. 2. Do I trust the source? If the opinion or criticism comes from someone that actually cares about you and genuinely wants you to succeed and you respect that person, listen to it. But if it comes from someone whose only real goal is to tear you down, you can safely ignore it. Because the truth is, people who are genuinely happy and confident don't spend time judging others. And when someone tries to demotivate you and destroy your self-esteem, that always says more about them than it says anything about you. Because people who are confident and content with their lives, they don't feel threatened by people who do things differently. They don't need to bring others down to feel better about themselves. But people who are unhappy and dissatisfied, when they see you do things differently than they would, and especially when they see you take risks that they know they are too afraid to take, they feel threatened. They feel like you are attacking their own life choices. They feel like you're looking at them and telling them that their life sucks and they are dumb for putting up with it and never doing anything to change. In reality, those are things that they themselves think. But because facing their own discomfort is hard, they just judge and criticize others. And they wait for every opportunity to say, I told you so, whenever someone around them fails even a little. So basically, even as you're being criticized by your harshest critics, who seem to have made it their mission to demotivate you and make you give up, they are still not looking at you. And I know that this doesn't make their criticism pleasant, but understanding that the reason why they do it is their own insecurity makes it easier to not feel hurt by opinions that don't really matter. One last thing that is no less important is that if you care so much about what others think that it constantly ruins your mood and makes you lose your drive, then it could be that you don't have anything more important to focus on. Or, as it's often the case, it could be that you have simply forgotten it, that you have lost sight of it because you've been so distracted by what other people think that you forgot to refresh your memory on what your own priorities actually are. So here's for you a question that you might have already heard me ask. What are you willing to pursue even if people criticize you? Because let's face it, you can't stop people from judging you. You can't control what they think or what they say. But you can choose to focus on your goals instead of their judgment. Like when I finally started making videos regularly, I was still scared about what people thought. But I cared more about sharing what I learned, helping people, and improving my skills. Now, look, I'm not going to say that you can just flip a switch and stop caring about what people think. After all, fear of judgment is something that is deeply part of our human nature. And it made sense back when being excluded from your tribe was a matter of life or death. But today, you can totally survive without the approval of people who are too worried about their own problems to really care about you anyway. So learn to filter feedback and mostly listen to people who genuinely care about you and are not just interested in tearing you down. Remember that people who criticize you the most, they are still not looking at you, even while they are criticizing you and judging you harshly. And last but not least, focus on what actually matters to you. Work on things that you care about more than you care about what other people think. Because at the end of the day, you're living your life, not theirs. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful and would like to really work on improving your confidence, I have a free guide called How to Build Confidence Even If You're Starting from Zero, which goes deeper into the strategies that I used back when my confidence was at rock bottom. Link in the description. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.